So please help me welcome Zipporah.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you all. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for choosing to be a little tech savvy with your small business. So we want to talk about today how to maintain your client base and increase your productivity. And so what is going to level the playing field? If you are a small business, there's some things that you want to pay attention to. You want to think about your capacity. You want to think about your delegation, automation, your ability to grow. And so you can do that as a small business person, and even if you're a single owner operator, it's really, really important that you learn this technology so that you actually level out the playing field, so that you can do that to the best of your ability. You don't want to look like you're the only one in your business running your phone on a cell phone, running your business on a cell phone. You want to have room to grow. So what are some of the things we're going to cover today is talk about client base, which is your foundation. You can take anything away from me except for my client base. Put me anywhere and I am good. Just make sure I have my client base. And you should think the same, because that is priceless for you. Also, we're going to talk about record keeping. It's important that you track everything that you're doing, otherwise your business is for naught. And of course, productivity. I don't know about you, but my 24 hours is kind of priceless. And so you want to actually pick and choose what you use your time for. Communication is the key to everything when it comes to your business, whether it's your clients, whether it's your network, or whether it is your staff. And you must document everything that you have there. So these are what we're going to be covering today. And again, my name is Zipporah Singleton with Radiant Purpose, and she did a lot of that. So it's going to start right now with, let me get my time, sorry about that. It's going to start a lot now with evaluating what you do have. Okay, it's so important for you to look at what's your reasons, what things are you looking at what you're doing for. You want to look at areas of opportunity. There's always room for growth if you look at what you do, because you only have 24 hours in a day. The same 24 hours in a day is the person that's picking up your garbage as it is running the country. So you want to look at what you're doing with those opportunities. You also want to think about the areas that keep you up at night. Thinking about your own business, you really want to think, what really is keeping me up? Do you not know where your customers are? Or, when was the last time you touched base with some of them? So let me do some housekeeping right off the bat. This information is an over 4-hour session that we are putting in about 20-30 minutes. So please forgive me, because it was very hard to pick and choose what to tell you about. And I'm also a visual person, so you guys would also love to have visual. But I'll do something for you guys, because you guys took the time to come out to help you out with some of the things we're going to talk about. So the most important valuation, we will have time for questions in the middle and at the end. Most important thing is time. We only have 24 hours. So you need to realize your time really is your life. So when you're doing things, you really want to make sure it's the most important thing you're doing at that time to give you the best return on investment. The other thing is your client base. Remember, I told you, you can drop you anywhere. If you can't get your client base, that is a problem. So let's talk first about some things that we start with client base. I'm going to mention, and just so you know, I'm going to mention a lot of different softwares, different things that you can use that I will give you guys. If you send me a message, I'll give you guys the list of where I'm talking to you about now. So Ring Central is one of the ones that I use, is very good for communication with your clients. So if you do anything that you have to communicate with your clients on a regular basis, I would suggest this one, because one, it's going to let you upload your documents there. It's going to upload video links, and it's specific to the person that you're talking to. It's also a messenger. It's also phones. It's also different apps connect. Everything that I will talk about is all connected. Again, you only have 24 hours, so everything I mention is connected one way or another, that it can build off of each other. So that's just one area that you can keep communication. So it's great for the consultant that you're doing a lot of work back and forth and they're passing different things or orders, or even like construction that you're doing back and forth information. Great for tracking, so you don't have to go back through all your emails to check everything. One person, one conversation, and you can bring it together with two or groups of two. I do this for a lot of my nonprofits and different things like that. Slack is another one. You guys heard that same scenario. You can actually hold conversations with your team members within that. Again, it connects with a lot of different platforms, so everything we talk about is going to connect. And this is, again, what you can do with your customer base. Skype is another way that you can connect with clientele if you do overseas and different things. It's kind of behind the times, but it is still available if you do international business. Social media, again, it's places where your customers can be and you can communicate with them. Shuffle is another area. It's where you can have your database, but I'm giving you different places that some people have used too, because they like simple things in life. And of course, Facebook groups. So those are the places that we look at. So you're going to have clients in all these different places, but it's really important to bring them all together so you know at any given time where what's going on with your clients. So again, this is one of the places that you can kind of keep together your client base and they have a database. Also, software that is, you want to pick for your record keeping software that's going to be multi-purpose. So some of the ones that I mentioned before, they're multi-purpose because you want them to connect in multiple ways. Also, it's great for networking because some of the, you want to be able to be mobile, but you want to be on your desktop. You want to be, no matter where you're at, you're wanting to be able to take care of that. So you do want something that's multi-purpose. Also in your networking, it's really important that when you network, how many times you go out and somebody's passing out cards, you're like, oh, hi, how are you? And you get back and you're like, okay, if you were good, you actually followed up with them within 24 hours or 48 hours like you're supposed to, but most of the people, they go from one event to the next event, and then they get back and it's like, what do you do with all of this? It's like you forgot was that with this event or with that networking? So how do you do this? You want to have something that you can operate on your phone. So if you're on your phone, you can actually take a picture, and this is some of the things I would tell you, so simple that you can use even here. So if you go to an event that you're someplace, you can actually scroll through your phone. It's called the Notes app, okay? So it tells you the ability that you get to go see some of these things. So when you go and you take a picture with someone, snap a picture underneath it, put the notes of how you met them, okay? And then you go to the next one, snap a picture. So this is how you keep up with, because I travel a lot. I meet a ton of people, but I'm always wanting to keep key notes of that person. And sometimes they might have a shiny card or a specialty card, and you can't write on the back of it who you met them. This is a perfect way to do it, even if you don't take a picture because you're not that, but you can take this. Yes?
Is the Notes app, and then how do you get the picture in there?
You literally can just press the hold and say, it'll give you the option. You can do it here. Press and hold, it'll give you the option if you want to take a picture or add a picture in it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People did not know that. You can also put voice in here and task in here too. So this is about learning things you have to work with right now, okay? That this is a little computer in your deal. And if it's something important, like for example, here, you could take pictures as you meet people or take a picture of their card. So just in case you forget to where they met them, put that picture here, take a picture of their car. Okay, they had a black shirt on. You're going to remember when you see that they had a black shirt on, because sometimes people picture and their car doesn't match all the time. So, or if you were talking about, oh yeah, the soccer game they were playing. So whatever, 1 to 2 things, don't go crazy, but 1 to 2 things you can remember, that's how you remember about it. And then you could actually save it and pin it in your phone. So if you're at an event, you can go right back to that one, even if you go to the other places. So just kind of telling you a little bit about that. But I kid you not, I can remember, okay, I was in Seattle, and I can go pull up my notes in Seattle, and it'll pop the people in Seattle. Or, oh, I remember her name was like Israel. So put in Israel, and then now, oh yeah, that was Seattle. And so when you see a person, they always think I'm putting it on Facebook, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm cheating on you. So that is what you usually want to do when you're using what you do have. So again, the most important thing you have is your phone. You always have it with you, so you don't have to use so much. Like I said, I travel a great deal. And then it's always great to put a picture, like even if you're going to a restaurant, a menu, where was that? And if you put it in your phone, you'll be able to pull it up. So, and it's really important when you go back to talk to somebody, you're like, oh, even if it's 2 weeks ago. And they're like, oh, you have a great memory. No, I take notes. So these are the things you want to do. Again, relationships and everything. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you take the time when you're talking to them and they're like, hold on, Kiki, stop messing with the dog or whatever, and they come back to you, so you write down their dog's name is, whatever. So I kid you not, in the downbeat, you write notes. This is how you build your business. And you keep continuing to do that as you network. So these are the things I'm telling you. Also, your phone is going to keep track of your receipts for you. You can take a picture of your receipts, which was great. I was on vacation. Take a picture of receipts and upload it. And I'll tell you some other places to upload it, but at least take a picture of it. And what happened was my bag got put in some water, and all the receipts just, with the ink, it just went away. But it was a good thing I took a picture of it. So these are the things to pay attention to. It's the little things that save you time. And this is all what I'm talking about. Also, your documents. So as you're looking for something, you're taking a picture of your documents. And one of the places that I would also tell you to do, and we might talk a little bit more, is Evernote is one of those things that is a huge, like everybody who knows me knows that that is the place for me. But it keeps track of those, your documents, your receipts, you can upload them as well. I'm going really fast, so I will slow it down a little bit. Again, on your phone, remember you can also record. So if you are out and about and you want to record, yes, there's called voice menu, voice memos. I think that's what they're called on the phone. So you can do that, and then I think notes in some of the phones you can do that. In Evernote you can do that as well. So I'm all about using your time wisely, because you know how people talk like I am talking right now, and you're trying to catch it all. Write it down, and then that way you can go back and listen to it at your own convenience. And it will, in Evernote, it'll put it right where your notes are. So you'll know exactly where it is, and you can put a time frame on it, timestamp. Receipts is Shoebox. This is a place, again, they have an app, and they have a desktop version. You can take a quick snapshot of that to make sure that you're doing that. And then you also have QuickBooks. You could take a picture and then it'll pull it into QuickBooks. I am telling you things to save you time, because that's precious. And if you can get that, that would be wonderful. Another thing I would tell you about documents, anything that's worth doing one time, you need to pick a system. So if you know you're going to do a form, you know you have customers coming in, every last one of you should have an intake form. You can have this done. You can put it on Adobe, or you can put it on simple, a Word document, and pull it back as a template. If you do it one time, you need to have a system behind what you do. You also have you gotten emails that have a whole bunch of attachments? Don't do that. One of my clients said the best thing I gave her was showing her how to do hyperlinks. Any document you send out, do hyperlinks, because a lot of the companies, corporate companies, they will not take all of those attachments. You do a hyperlink with your Adobe or whatever file you need to send in, and then that way it's a clean document when you send it out. You can also do hyperlinks to video and photo galleries, because some of the things that have videos is like forever, keeps all your photos together so you can have that available to only the people who might be interested in it. You can put a hyperlink in there, like I have a bakery and she's like, this is the hyperlink to my cakes, and it's, how would I say, live, so anytime she adds to it, it continues to add to whoever's getting notified of this. So again, Ring Central is another one. You upload a document, your client sees that immediately. You're talking on the phone, you have your phone, you upload it immediately. It's faster than email. And then you don't have to scroll through and try to find the email. When was the last time you talked to this person? You don't know. Also, YouTube videos, any of these things you can go ahead and add in. And another thing, here's another cute thing you guys could do. If you do text messages, like I said, I know you all have your phones, but when you do text messaging to someone, do you send the same thing maybe once or twice? Here's the thing, go into text replacement in your phone, make an acronym for whatever you want to write. 3-4 letters, it could be a whole paragraph. You can literally save it as text replacement and then type that in your phone and send that message out, okay? So save you all kinds of ways to save time. Even if it's a hello, you want to send somebody that you network, it was great seeing you at the business summit, customize it with their name in the front and then add on whatever you need to. So next we will. Okay, so now let's talk about the financials. Really, really important. You can receive your customer payments. It does not have to be Square, okay? That charges you more on your merchant fees and different things like that. Not kicking that one, but to use a software that is going to be the most beneficial for your company. You want to be able to scan that receipt or take a payment over the phone, send out an invoice, and then if you're using QuickBooks, you send out an invoice, it actually ties right back into the database, which I use is ACT, it'll tie right back into it. So when you pull up that person, everything that you did, documents, text messages, everything ties into that person. So again, the things that I'm mentioning all work together. So, and I would tell you as business owners, please don't use Cash App. It's not in your best advantage to do that. It was meant for personal. There's also one thing I will tell you there on your finances, just as on a side note, everything needs to have a place. So when you take in your payments, every dollar should have an assignment. So on your phone, if you were, say, for example, using QuickBooks, you can literally, when you take that fee in, you can put it in different folders, and we call them envelopes in QuickBooks. So for example, you put such percent for staffing, such a percent for marketing, such a percent for profits for the owner. So every time you get a payment, and all of this is done on your phone. So every time you get a payment, you might put 15% away for taxes, and right on your phone, you can transfer the money into that account. It's in one account, but you have different envelopes, so you're not paying a fee for all your different bank accounts. This is from Profit Plus. It's an excellent book if you have not gotten it. Teaches you how to spend your money. And what I'm saying is how to do that on the fly or do it in QuickBooks. So 15% for tax, 15% for your staff, marketing. You put aside money for owners should get a profit, which most people don't. They wait until the end and like, I made this much money, where's that money? And like, yeah, you just ate it all up. So these are ways that you can track what you're doing. Also, another software that we use is called Forever. I mentioned that. This is all your loose photos. But it will take in, again, if you email me hello@Radiant Purpose, I'll send you this list so you don't have to worry about it. And the PowerPoint, that'll be the bonus as well. But it's hello@Radiant Purpose. But you will have photos, documents, PDFs, audio, PowerPoints, all of this that you can put video on forever. And you pay for storage one time and not constantly. And having to pay for additional service every time on some of these services, Dropbox, one, you have to continue to pay on that every year. So I also look at finances really well. Evernote, Forever, I don't know, I probably have 2 terabytes in that thing. I don't have to pay for my amount of storage, I just pay for how much storage I send every month. So these are things that I would tell you that you'll get that later. So, and then security is really important. One thing I will tell you on your photos, there's no guarantee for Google, and I don't know if you guys know that they can use that and shut it down anytime. Facebook, they can shut it down anytime. You have pictures on there, so you kind of keep track of those. And Apple will not keep your original pictures. They will only keep a thumbnail of your pictures, so if you needed that. Security going forward is there's the wallet, there's 1Password and Password Plus. This is, instead of writing in your notes all your passwords, because you know every place now requires another password, another combination. You can't use the same password in every place anymore. This is an excellent place that I personally recommend, is because you can now have it a extension on your Chrome that you can get all your passwords. Okay, you also can have it on your phone. You could have it on every desktop, and it's in the cloud and it's secured. And this is coming from one of my colleagues that I work with. He is the security person at Exxon. So if they can do it, I can pay attention to him. Another thing to know, if you're all surfing the web, get a VPN. So because that way it'll keep you safe. Again, I travel a lot, so you can be over in Europe someplace and then India ends up with your credit card. How did that happen? Because somebody surfed it from your computer. So these are things that you need to pay attention to. Keep your passwords where you can access it. Another way, you can also send passwords individually with someone that maybe it's your staff that you want to send them password, but you don't want to give them the password. There's ways to do that as well. So you can send that. So that'll get you some. So, because just to give you a bit of a story, I had one of my clients, he is an IT person. He literally got hired to break into a client's house because he passed away, unfortunately, because he died with COVID or whatever. But what happened was his whole house was a smart house. The entire house. Everything was smart. They couldn't get into anything. And so he had to literally, and he left his passwords with no one. So they literally had to break into his house to get into his bank account, get into, everything was smart, the entire house, because that's what he had fun with. So that's why I'm saying you need to, especially when you're single, you need to have somebody who has your password, because, emergencies never knock on the door and say, hey, I'm going to be here. It never comes in and say, hey, we're going to have a hurricane. Those people in Florida, they were like, oh, hold on a second, let me go grab my paperwork and all my staff's paperwork so I can pay their check. Like, it never said any of this. So be prepared to move forward. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about some hardware, and I'm going to finish this up in a little bit. So some of the things we talked about is your virtual assistant. It could be Echo or Google. Are you guys using it? It was cute to get it when you're like, oh, this is so cool, but are you really using it to the best of its ability? It can open up like Ring Central. It can open up different things that you have available. It can remind you when you need to call a client back. Are you doing this? It can sit here and tell you when you get to a certain room, do whatever, or you get to a certain location. You can be where you are and make a note to project a voice to your house, but you're at your office, and you make an announcement. These are things that you can do with your virtual assistant, and pay attention to the things like that. Another thing that I would, talk about is scanners. This is another thing. There's one called Scan Snap, is what that is. That is a standalone scanner, like so big, but it will do everything from business cards to invoices, and it's smart. And it puts it in the right place that it's supposed to be. And it scans both sides. Okay, I know it's a little pricey, and I'm not getting, anything, but it's a little pricey, but it'll scan both sides of the paper like this. You can scan 15 pages in like 30 seconds almost, like a minute. It's so super fast. And again, get away your paperwork. The reason I'm saying a scanner is because when you do the scan, you're scanning it and it goes right into Evernote, which will go right into your customer base, which you can look at that invoice. You can look at that receipt in your QuickBooks. Scanning is the best thing that I would tell you to do. There's also one called, go ahead.
Does Evernote, is it compatible with like HubSpot or does mail?
Yes, that's why I love it.
Okay.
Pretty much everything. Like I said, HubSpot is one of the ones. That's a software that we talked about. I'll go back to that because HubSpot, Act, those are Monday. Those are, and it depends on, and this is one thing you do have to figure out if you don't have a database right now. I will tell you, there are many of people that I've run into, they have all their contacts on their phone. You have no way to track your documents. You have no way to track your emails, your text messages. It's important to have a database that you can access on your phone and you can access on the computer. You can access on a totally different computer that's not even your own. So these are the things you need to know, and that's why I'm saying scanning these things, and it will work with that. And you literally could put a link right from Evernote into your database, open it up, and it'll open the document. I mean, it's priceless when you get there. And again, I will show you some of these videos. The other thing I would also tell you, if you're doing data, it's really important if you're taking care of data, things that you'll need more than once, you need to be able to access, and you don't want to enter twice. So if you have software, and I don't care if it's somebody gave you the software for free, if it's not going to be helpful or beneficial for you in the future, then don't waste your time, because your most expensive, important thing is what? Your time and your database. So pay whatever it costs to keep your database safe, okay? Pay whatever it costs to make sure everything that you work, because you will, what did they say? You'll sit here and waste a dime a dollar for trying to save money when your database is most important. And you'll sit here and buy these cheap little software things or whatever's free. Your clients paid you how much money? So pull like 1% out of every dollar and put it aside and get you a real database. So some of the things that you need to do, because your data is very, very important to pay attention to, and they all need to work together. So again, one place to put it in and not multiple places to put it in. And always back it up. You want to back it up to the cloud. You also want to back it up on a regular basis. You want to have even a thumb drive and have a backup to the backup. You know, it's like you're going someplace, oh, it's on the computer. Have a backup to the backup, because you never know what can happen. And you only have to have it once for you to not, oh, I forgot to back up my things, especially when you're talking business. You guys, it's bad enough when you're losing your important documents with the flood, but you do want to back up your important things. And I would also tell you a solid state drive, as opposed to some of the less expensive ones. Get a solid state drive, because you can shake it, move it, and it's not going to damage as fast, and it lasts a lot longer. So that's one of the things I would kind of mention to you. So definitely don't take it for granted. Okay. Come on. Okay, and communication, we kind of talked about that. Again, if you're on the phone, you probably want to deal with the headset. Don't try to get something where you hear background noise or anything like lighting. If you are on video, make sure the lighting is well. Get a ring light or some light that you can put on your face, because you come out dark on video, especially in this time with so many things happening on video. Quick notes. Again, your phone, priceless. If you have like a note that you want to save, pen it on your phone. Good Notes is one, Evernote is one. Again, it's great for taking a quick minute. So let me go ahead and tell you a couple of networking apps. I will give you this. It's for networking when you're out and about. Scan a business card, it'll go right into your system. Shuffle or card scan. Yeah, those are ones that you do. And communication, you always want to keep in touch with people. Send out cards is fabulous if you haven't done that, because you could set it up for months in advance, up to a year actually. And this is excellent for running into networking.
What was that one?
Send out cards.
Send out cards.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's priceless and keeping that up. Also, inventory, Sortly is another thing. It'll keep you caught with inventory. And if you want to do time, you have staff that you need time sheets. It's home-based, and Sortly are kind of the times that they have on here. And let's see here. I'll give you the web shortcuts that you can use. And basically, we talked about office suites, note-taking, some project management, online folders, online storage. We'll have that cloud backup. You want to do that where it does it on an automatic basis. Online, and this is the glue to everything, is Zapier. If you have a app that does not work with each other, make sure it works with Zapier. Just turn it down if it doesn't connect, I will tell you, because it's not worth it in the long run. So project management, again, Bring Central if you do any project management. You also have Evernote, Teams is out there, Trello, Asana, Basecamp if you have larger teams. Any kind of time management, you want to have that available, keeping track of your time and your productivity online. You can track that too. If you don't have a scheduler, it's crazy. I don't know how you do it without it. Eventbrite, any events or activities that you have. Meetup, again, Nextdoor, and community calendars. I'll make sure you guys get the slides, just make sure. Okay, inventory, as I mentioned, you want to track that in QuickBooks, Sortly, SOS inventory, delivered. These are some, and then payments, merchant accounts, on-the-go payments, accounting. You want to track all of these. So general communication, in person, you want to have some plan when you do that. Technology works. Email, have an already template going, or mail, have a form letter. Text, have that little cute text, and of course phone calls. And social. So documentation with Sign Now, Adobe Forms, or DocuSign and QuickBooks. And that was questions. You can scan this, please, and then I'll make sure you get because it's a lot of information. Again, it was hard in 4 hours to put this in 30 minutes. But scan the QR code, and then that way you can I'll make sure you get that and the list of all the documents that I mentioned to you. Take care of your database. Record your entrance once, and that's it. Be productive, not busy, and track your communication. Documents will save you time. Thank you so much.